Hey, it's Nicole, and welcome to the Studio Nicole podcast. Before we get into this incredible episode, I just wanted to send a huge thank you to this community. Thank you for listening, for sharing my episodes. I love that you have joined me on this journey. I started this podcast because I love connecting with people. I love hearing those stories of why people do what they do. At its core, this show is about taking the leap and learning as you go. It's a celebration of creativity, resilience, and of course, connection. I don't know about you, but I feel so much inspiration listening to people's stories. So thank you for taking the time for yourself to listen to this podcast. Lindsey is the owner of Loft Accounting Advisory, a modern CPA firm that helps business owners understand their money. Instead of traditional, here's your tax return, good luck kind of accounting, she provides proactive advice, clear financial guidance, transparent pricing, and ongoing support so entrepreneurs can understand their cash flow, plan for growth, and also build businesses that support their lives, not just burn them out. She left her big firm accounting job to create her own business, a more human, impact-focused approach to finance. Now, if you know me, math and numbers are definitely not my zones of genius, so that's why I'm extra excited for today's episode so I can learn some tips from Lindsey. Stay right to the end where I put Lindsey on the spot with the exact money questions I'm working through in my own business. So welcome to the show. I'm super happy to have you here. And you had just said that you've just come back from Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Was it just like a family vacation or where'd you go?
So my husband and I went to France.
Okay.
And the reason we went was it was an agriculture related trip. My husband's a farmer and it was a tour of a factory in St. Malo. So that's the whole purpose. We went a little bit early and stayed in Paris, of course, because why wouldn't you? And yeah, so we started in Paris. We're there for a few days, then went to St. Malo and toured Mont Saint-Michel. I'm butchering these terms for anyone that speaks French.
The one? I feel like I saw a picture of the one where it's like the castle on a mountain and you
Mm-hmm.
can only come to it when it's like low tide.
Yes. Yeah.
How was
you
that?
can go to it now because there's a bridge, but
okay.
it was very, very cool.
Yeah.
It's a very popular tourist destination,
Okay.
which I had never even heard about,
Yeah.
but it was very, very, it was really cool. Really interesting. We did a tour there.
What was your favorite part of the whole trip?
Just being in Paris.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like we didn't even have any big plans there,
Yeah.
but walking around, getting lattes and champagne and baguettes and crepes. That's my favorite part.
You are the owner of Loft Accounting Advisory, which you've just had a rebrand, which I absolutely love. We'll talk about that later. But in a nutshell, like, you're fully self-employed.
Mm-hmm.
In a nutshell, what were some of the key points that got you here? Like, how did you get here?
I guess it all started with a long career at a public accounting firm. So I worked in public accounting for 14 years. I learned an awful lot there. I really liked the people I worked with. I still talked with them and have lunch with them on occasion, things like that. No bad blood or anything. But it just got to the point where it was too much of a time commitment, I would say. I was traveling to Brandon and I live 45 minutes outside of town. My kids are getting older, they're in activities. So trying to make it work to be in the office, and I had a responsibility of with staff members that I had to manage and things like that. I just felt like I wasn't able to give it my all anymore, and I was becoming a little bit bored with the work I was doing. In public practice, you kind of, if you're not on the partner track, you can only go so far, and I did not want to be a partner there. So I made it basically as far as I could go without kind of learning and growing. And so I guess I had to make a choice whether I was okay with that or if I wanted to make a change. And ultimately, I ended up quitting and then coming back.
Okay.
I quit twice.
Okay.
It was so hard for me to leave because of the people. I went to the Christmas party after I quit, and that was a mistake because it was really like, I don't know, it was very emotional for me.
Yeah.
And so then I went back. I just changed my work hours a little bit. And then I discovered it still wasn't what I wanted. And I've always had kind of an entrepreneurial brain. I've thought so many times over the years of what else I would do. My husband and I do own a few different businesses outside of what I do with my accounting business. So we're kind of an entrepreneurial family. And yeah, I never thought that I would actually do accounting as my business. I always thought it'd be something different, but
what did you think it'd be?
I don't know. I don't know. Truthfully, I don't know. I've had different thoughts over the years. I shouldn't even say them because they're probably embarrassing.
Tell me.
No, I'll tell you offline.
Tell the people, Lindsey.
People don't need to know. I am best at accounting. Let's just say that. And I wanted to do something to help business owners more.
Okay. Why is that?
I think when I worked in public practice, I did feel like we were helping people for sure, but we were really working with the past all the time. So we were filing tax returns in the past and preparing financial statements in the past. And then we would have a meeting and talk about the past and not really talk much about, it was more like, yeah, you had a great year, or here's what you owe in taxes or whatever. And there wasn't a lot of forward thinking. It doesn't mean that that's not possible at a firm like that, but it just wasn't the main event, if you want to call it that. And just knowing what the day-to-day is like as a business owner, I know that it's important to have a lot more insights into your finances, and it can really be a game changer. So I'm not even sure where I got the idea, probably from a podcast or something about this term fractional CFO. So that came up a lot in my podcast listening when I was first out of work.
Yep.
I didn't leave and jump right into it. I took like a few months to just kind of get my head wrapped around things.
So when you did leave, you said it was just a couple of months. So when you did leave, did you have that starting your own business in mind? Or did you just kind of like leave because I just needed to get out of there? And then you kind of sat with yourself and thought, what could you do next?
Yeah, I didn't have the idea to start a business in mind. The idea was to help out with our own businesses that we already had.
Yeah.
And then I very quickly realized that I needed something that was mine.
Yeah.
And I had these other ambitions. And then I developed kind of this idea of having my own fractional CFO type services. So then just really started leaning into that more. And that's what eventually became Loft.
You said when you were at that place, you had quit twice.
Yes.
And so, which I know it's always hard to leave places, even if you're a little bit unhappy or whatever, because you love the people. But what was it like? Why did you go back? Was it just like the fear of the unknown, or just?
I think it was the fear of letting people down. I'm a people pleaser through and through. I really struggle with saying no. I'm getting better at that. And I honestly, like, my mentor was the one I worked for, and he's still there. And it was really hard to leave that position where like we worked together all the time. And I just felt really guilty. And we were a really good team. And of course, in the end, everyone's replaceable. And I am no exception.
As hard as that hurts, right?
It's the truth. Yeah. And everyone lived. It was totally fine. But I don't know. It was just guilt, not wanting to let people down. That's the main thing.
So then, do you remember the moments, I guess would be, the second was the last time you quit there. Do you remember the moments where you thought, okay, no, this is it. I have to just leave. What kind of brought you to that moment?
I don't really know if there was any one moment in time. It was more so just like not really wanting to go to work.
Yeah.
Showing up, but not really showing up, and kind of thinking like, this is not me. I want to like and enjoy where I'm going every day. And I used to really feel that way, right? Like I was always looking forward to Mondays, and that kind of changed. So those were just some key indicators that I needed to get real with myself and stop putting other people's thoughts, what I thought their thoughts were first.
Yeah. How did you like get to that realization? Like, do you know what I mean?
Like, what was the actual point where I don't know. I also have a really bad memory. Yeah. So I don't know if I can pinpoint it. It was in 2023, which isn't that long ago.
Okay, so it is fresh.
It is pretty fresh, but
still,
like, there's a lot of things that have to go in my brain, and that's not really one that sticks.
As well.
I don't know.
Yeah, I was just wondering, because I remember I met you at a networking event, and I think there was a seating plan that time, And so we sat beside each other. And I remember you saying that, yeah, you had just started and gone out on your own. That's
Okay.
how I met
Oh,
you.
so you met me fresh after
I
yeah.
guess. Well, would
Well,
that
you
have
tell me, did
been
I tell you
like a
then?
year? I feel like I don't remember you. Gosh, would that have been at least been a year or two ago?
Okay.
Gosh,
Yeah, I
time
guess it could have
flies.
been.
But yeah, I think you were just, I can't remember if you said you were just starting, but you said that you had left and
hmm
yeah, we're doing your own thing. And what were the steps that you took to start like your own accounting business?
Like actual physical steps to start it?
I
Or
guess like you had the thoughts. Like
Mhm.
when did that thought come that you said you kind of wanted your own thing? And then what was your next step?
I think the first kind of inkling I got that I wanted to do that. So I was changing kind of processes around for how we did things on our
Mm,
farm. I was learning about some new software available and kind of like automations, leaning into the more techie side
yep.
of the accounting world. And that kind of opened my eyes up a lot to the fact that I didn't know about these things.
Right.
And I was an accountant working for an accounting firm for so long and never heard of these products.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and actually, that's kind of a further point is there's a whole underground like accounting influencer economy that I was not aware of, which
Okay.
is really cool. And small firms are all very connected and they share information.
Mm,
But anyway, besides the point. Um, so yes, I started doing things for our own farm and businesses and changing processes. And I thought that other people must need this
mm-hmm.
or they could be helped by this. And then it was just kind of slowly like word of mouth and some referrals actually from my old firm,
Okay.
like so and so needs help. It started kind of with converting to a cloud software. So, like
Mm,
from QuickBooks Desktop to QuickBooks Online.
okay.
And okay, sure, I can help with that. And so I did some of those and then slowly started taking on some monthly bookkeeping and then a little bit of tax work and then some advisory.
Mm-hmm.
And then just kind of grown from there.
Mm-hmm.
And now kind of dropping off those original services a little bit to focus more on the advisory. Um, I'm probably getting away from your question.
That's okay.
The
You keep
steps
going.
that that I took to start. So yeah, it was really doing it for ourselves and realizing that I think this could be
Mm,
a marketable service
yeah.
in the area.
Yeah. Because I know for myself, when I think of like accounting,
hmm
taxes, finances, I'm like lost.
Right.
Like it's a similar feeling as when I go to a mechanic.
hmm
I'm like, oh, like they're gonna take advantage of me, or I don't know what I'm
right.
talking about. I don't know the lingo.
hmm
Same things when I do my taxes.
Yep.
I'm always like, oh, like, oh shoot, it's tax time. And I like to consider myself an organized person.
hmm
But for some reason, that is just every year. I'm like, this is the year, Nicole.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep my things in a Ziploc bag. No, I've upgraded. I'm going to keep organized. I'm going to write my receipts. And then I'm like, shoot, I didn't do it.
hmm
And so I'm like keeping track, whatever. This, you'll be very proud of me. This summer, just before my business started booming, I thought, okay, I need to like get a handle on this.
hmm
So I made an Excel spreadsheet.
Good. Good job. It's a good start.
And I keep track of payments, news paid, and all that stuff, and
That's
my
great. hmm
costs and things like that. But honestly, I even remember you posted something once on your Instagram and to like ask me, was it like ask me any kind
What
of,
questions do you want to know the answer to or something?
yeah, for
hmm
accounting or finance? And I said, oh yeah, I have so many. But I was like, I don't even know
What to
what
ask?
to ask. Do you find that with a lot of your clients
Yes.
or yeah?
I
Why
find
is that?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you're good at what you're good at, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like you have so many other things to worry about and do,
Right.
and you're a creative person and you're buried in the operations of your
Mhm.
business. So to think about accounting, that's I would not recommend that's where you spend your time.
Yeah.
Like you do need to have a certain level of financial literacy as a business owner
Mhm.
and people can help you get there. You
Mhm.
don't need to be born with it. And also another thing is we don't learn a lot of it in school, right? Like
Yeah.
they don't teach you how to file your taxes. And maybe they do now. I would hope
Yeah.
so. I have a daughter in grade 7, so I guess I'll find out soon.
Yeah.
Um, but I wish they did more things like that, like even entrepreneurship, like
Right. Yeah.
having some sort of class on what are healthy profit margins and
Yeah.
like just learning that process at a younger age so that
Yeah.
it's a little bit more common knowledge. I
I
think that
feel
would be
like
really
that would
helpful.
be a lot more beneficial
Than
because when
learning
you
to
think
play
about it,
the
lots of
recorder.
kids, yeah, lots of kids and teenagers, high school people, they are all like making either like crafts or baking or whatever. Like a lot of them kind of do that throughout any age. And that would be more beneficial to learn more about that than I remember my applied provincial exam. I don't know why I just remember this. I got like high 90s, 80s in every other subject except for math. I got like a solid 62. I was just like solid 62. Yeah. But I took applied. I took pre-calc 1 year, just like struggled. And but I remember the applied math exam was like about you had to like you had to build a fish tank. The fish displaced a certain amount of water.
Oh my.
The thickness of glassness displaced a certain amount of water.
useful.
And I remember thinking, I would look at the gym like, can you just give me a 62 and we could just move on with our lives? I don't want to waste 3 more hours of my life. But
oh my goodness.
so I think an entrepreneur class would be super beneficial.
Yeah, I would love to see that. I know that they have very limited resources in school and like that's probably a big part of it. I don't know.
Even
One
like
day
guest
I
speakers.
would love to like have some sort of entrepreneurship club for young people one day. I'll add it to my list of things.
Yeah, list of things to do. I feel like there's like, I love science fairs. And I feel like
a
there
business
is
fair.
an entrepreneur fair.
I think there
I
is.
feel like I've seen that around, but I like that idea. I've never seen one in person, but
I've seen them for younger kids too out in our area, which is really cool. I'd love the idea of like maybe like high school age students, they're actually starting this business and like they have to market it and then we get like guest speakers in for marketing and one day.
Cool.
I again forget your question, but
no, that's okay. We're just chatting. But it was just about how like people don't know a lot about finances. Because even I would go to I went to file my taxes and I wasn't even sure like, am I allowed to ask him questions?
Please ask them questions.
Yeah, and I really didn't. I wasn't sure. Like I totally whatever. And so is that why you kind of went more the advisory route?
Yeah. So I would say that unfortunately, that's a common feeling. I think people are very intimidated by accountants for some reason. And maybe it's because the typical, what you think of when you picture an accountant is like an older male in a suit and they're, I don't know, using all this jargon that you don't understand. And those still exist, but there are many of them that are lovely too.
Yeah.
And it is a very high jargon focused career. It just is by its nature. But it sucks when the client doesn't understand what you're talking about and they don't get it. And I think a lot of times I've seen people just, yep, okay. And they're not getting it.
Yeah.
They make it look like they are. And then you're just not helping them. And I just really wanted to actually help a business succeed and more importantly, help make sure they have the cash available to succeed and not solely focus on how much taxes they're going to pay. That's another common thing where people are just so averse to paying taxes. They want to do anything possible to avoid it. And that means that they go spend all their money to avoid a tax bill, but then you're out of money and you can't run your business. So that's another just thing that I've seen happen that I would like to help people see why that's not always the best solution. It's okay to pay taxes. It means you're doing well. It's mostly comes down to I wanted kind of a deeper relationship with clients, less clients, but a deeper relationship.
Yeah.
So not, so many tax returns, getting them in and out the door as fast as possible. It's more, I know the insides of your business and how you want to operate it and what your cash flow looks like. And if you can afford that, if it makes sense for you to hire someone, if it makes sense for you to buy a building, whatever the decision is, I want to know the facts so that I can help you make that choice with confidence, not just it'll save you this much tax.
Right. Yeah. No, that's very helpful. Now, also just thinking about it, what made you become an accountant in the first place?
Oh, I don't even know. Oh my. I took a long road to be one.
Okay.
I did 1 year of U of M in like general studies.
Yeah.
So I had no idea what I wanted to. Originally, I wanted to take a music degree.
Okay. Was
Very
that the
random.
business that you were afraid to
No,
tell us
no.
about? Come on.
Yeah, so I wanted to be a music teacher. And then I ended up taking general courses and really did not like university. It was, I don't know. So I was on my own there. I didn't know any
Yeah.
friends that came with me
Yeah.
to U of M. And so I ended up switching to Red River
Okay.
in the next year, and I just took business admin because I thought
Mm.
that would be a good thing to do.
Yeah.
And I really liked the accounting courses, so
Okay.
I did the accounting specialty. And there wasn't like I don't know if anyone has like I want to be an accountant so bad. Maybe
Well,
some people
numbers,
do,
money, yeah.
but not me.
Yeah.
I like it more now than I
Yeah.
ever have before because I'm doing something what I think is kind of cool and different with it.
Mhm.
But at the time, it was more so like I did well in the courses and
Yeah.
I might as well see this through. And then to take accounting, it's like articling. So you would work at a firm while you're taking courses at the same time. So it's very, it's like self-learning.
Mhm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Very cool.
There was no like, I've wanted to do this since I was 10 years old.
But honestly, I feel like, you hear people that say that they want to be this since they were 10. But honestly, I feel like the majority of people, it's just one thing leads to another.
Right. Yeah. And before you know it, you're just there.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing leads to another. You just kind of follow kind of what interests you, I suppose, depending on what your life goals are.
Right.
And then just like one course might have sparked your interest and then you go for that. And no, that's really nice.
I guess it seemed practical
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
the ability to get a job
Yep.
would be easy.
Yeah.
It was probably more based in practicality than
Yeah.
anything.
Most of my early choices were not based in, I took a fine arts degree. That's what I was like, I just want to go to university. But yeah, that's definitely the main, the usual thought, I think, of like,
How can I get a job?
Yeah.
Mhm.
How can I get a job? And okay. So also, I also wanted to talk about your rebrand. Because before, like when you first started, you were just, what was it? Like, you just used your name, right? You just had.
It was called Everly Accounting.
Oh,
I've had
that's
3 names.
right. Oh, Everly. Where does
Yes.
Everly come from?
It was a combination of my kids' middle names.
Okay. Yeah. And then you just kind of came up with that.
Yeah, it
on
was
your
very
own.
like, I don't know. I needed a name. I didn't
Yeah.
want it to be Lindsey Raupers, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I had a brief partnership with another accountant.
Okay.
She was great and a very nice person.
Mhm.
Ultimately, I decided that we were kind of going down a path of work that I didn't really want to do. It was
Yeah.
kind of getting into more tax returns again and not as the advisory deep relationships that I wanted to do. So
Right.
I made the decision to leave that. And that's kind of when Loft was born.
Okay.
Mhm.
So were you kind of just feeling like, okay, I need like clarity or I need a new logo? What kind of triggered you to do that whole process?
Yeah. So I didn't want to go back to Everly. I don't know. It was just
Yeah.
so random, like and made up, and I don't know.
Yeah.
So I got some input from my kids, which is always interesting.
Yeah.
My middle daughter wanted it to be called Helpful Linner or something.
Nice.
So we didn't go
That's
with that.
funny.
And at home, my office is in the loft of
Yeah.
our house. You've seen it.
Yeah.
And I also just kind of liked the thought behind it, like lofty goals.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what it's all about. It's like raising your goals,
Yeah.
setting higher goals for your business.
So you did come up with that name? I wasn't sure if that was you or.
Yes, I did come up with it. Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the kind of start of me on my own again, but
Yeah.
official. This is where I want to take it.
Mhm.
This is the name I'm going to stick with.
Yeah.
When I first started, it was just like, meh, let's just call it something,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just kind of start
Yeah,
somewhere.
start somewhere.
and- yeah.
Mhm.
No, for sure.
Yes. And then like the logo and the branding, I hired a team from Winnipeg, Nowadays Studio,
Mhm.
and they were really, really great to work with. They just talked to me and
Mhm.
asked me a number of questions and then came back with mood boards and just developed it all from what I said a few times.
Yeah.
I thought it was really amazing actually how they did that, like they grasped what I was trying to do from a few conversations, and they really nailed it. Yeah.
What do you feel that rebrand kind of did for you in your business?
I feel like it really helped set me on a path of the services I wanted to provide, honestly, because it was developed all around me kind of bearing my soul of what I wanted to do, right? And not just me writing on paper what I wanted to do. So they really got it because they were just talking to me. And I was just being honest with what I wanted to do and who I wanted to do it for. And then they took that and created copy for the website. And then when I read it, I was like, oh, this is me. That's cool.
Sometimes it's harder to, like, because we're always in our own head. And, like, when you see something written out, they're like, okay, that is me. But it's just hard for you to realize. I'm not sure why that is, just because we're in our own head. And
also hearing feedback from them, because they're business owners too. And saying things, oh, I wish I had this and blah, blah, blah. That was really helpful to me to know that, okay, this does seem like a valuable service. I don't know. It was just really like a point in time where like, this is mine and I want to grow it. And this brand is like, honestly, I think I said this to the marketing studio that did it, that I felt like I needed to level up to match the brand because it was so good. I just loved it so much. And it was really professional looking, and it looked like it needed to be out there more, if that makes sense. So I needed to like level up my business in order to do the logo proud.
Well, I love it. I think it suits you.
Thank you.
And honestly, I just love a good rebrand. I love logos. I love all that stuff. Okay, so as I mentioned before, I myself, and probably a lot of other people, are a little bit, I guess, would you call us like financially illiterate, or we need some financial help. I saw on your, so I'm going to ask you a few questions.
Okay.
And I saw on your website, your main clients is not necessarily like small businesses like me. It's more like medium to large, right?
Yeah.
Is that mostly?
That. Yeah.
But regardless,
but
I'm going to ask you
some questions.
I'm going to ask you some questions. And I think some of this might pertain to larger businesses as well. But okay, so for my business right now, let me think here. What should I be focusing on financially?
So you're a stage of business, like startup, sole proprietor. Okay. The number one thing I would recommend to anybody starting is keep your personal separate from your business.
Oh, yes.
That's very important. If you don't have a business bank account, get one and keep it all separate. It just makes recording things so much easier. I would also say it's never too early to hire a bookkeeper if that's not something you want to do on your own. It doesn't have to cost a lot. You can find bookkeepers that will charge you by the hour at a fairly reasonable rate just to keep track of your income and expenses. Because when you have good bookkeeping, you can do things like pull a report monthly that shows you what your profit and loss is for that month. So it's good that you're keeping track of it on a spreadsheet. But next level, I would say, is putting it in an accounting software and keeping track of it in there. Then you just have the ability to pull reports and analyze things, and it helps you know how you're doing financially.
Would I get my own software, or do they gonna get the software?
I would say you could leave it up to them.
Yeah.
Like if you were to hire a bookkeeper, would just tell them like, I don't know anything about this. They'll often have a software that they prefer.
Right.
Probably QuickBooks Online or Xero. Those are the most popular ones. And they would probably make you get a business bank account if you don't already. Like they want that separate, and they would record your transactions every month, and they can do as much or as little as you need.
Because you just like submit receipts to them kind of thing.
And there's different apps and whatnot that are helpful for that too, like submitting receipts on your phone and things like that.
Do you have a favorite app?
For submitting receipts, I always use Dext. DEXT. It's very handy. So you just like take a picture of your receipt, and then it reads information from that receipt. It separates out the cost, the taxes, the supplier, the invoice number, and then you can post it directly to QuickBooks. So it records the transaction too. So there's a lot of cool technology out there like that. What's some other advice for where you're at? I would say be careful of who you trust online.
Okay.
That's maybe like not a super financially focused one, but I just see so many gurus out there that are like, you can increase your revenue to 7 figures by doing this and buying my course. And I've seen people get burned by that. And I just really don't trust them.
Like those are kind of like financial advisors online.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't even know what they would call themselves. They more so
Interesting.
come across as business coaches, I would say.
Okay.
So yeah, but trust your instincts. You probably know what you need to do for your business, and you don't need to hire some random guru off Instagram.
Yep.
That's a piece of advice, I guess.
Yeah.
What else? Probably so many things. Make sure you're keeping track of your income and your expenses monthly, so you know how much to set aside for your tax bill.
Yes.
That's a big one. You don't want to be surprised by that.
Yeah.
How
much should you set aside?
It really depends on your personal tax bracket, but I would, as a blanket suggestion to any sole proprietor, if your net income, so your revenue less your expenses, if you'd saved 30% of that
30%
aside,
Yeah.
that would be a good ballpark.
Okay. So maybe you already answered this, but what numbers do I really need to pay attention to as a creative entrepreneur?
Okay, so creative entrepreneurs can be a little bit different. I work with some and I really like working with them for many reasons, but I would say probably the biggest pain point is kind of lumpy cash flows. So they tend to have project-based revenue. It's not necessarily the same every month. So you need to pay attention to the timing of your cash inflows versus the timing of your cash outflows. And paying attention to the revenue you have in your pipeline too, right? Because it tends to be very like feast or famine sometimes.
Right.
So in those feast periods, if you know how much you should be keeping in your bank for the future, then when the famine periods come, it's not such a big deal. I would also probably recommend that you try to look at some sort of monthly recurring revenue.
Oh yeah,
That's
like
always
retainers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However that fits in your business, that's just always a really nice thing to have as a service provider. It's just guaranteed funds every month.
I'd love to produce podcasts for people, so you know.
Yes, good one. Make it really easy for your customers to pay you.
Yes,
that would be another thing.
Yep.
Like
that's also what I implemented this summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
I have invoices that automatically and
perfect.
I was really proud of myself.
Yes. And I think you need to be so set a hard boundary with that with clients. They'll ultimately appreciate it. Like if you're even collecting their payment info up front and it's just automatically getting paid.
Right.
Like that's perfect situation.
Yeah.
What else for a creative entrepreneur? Yeah, I would say it really comes down to monitoring your cash flows.
Yeah.
So you can do that as far ahead as you want, but I do often recommend at least a 3-month cash flow. So you can make sure that if you have any upcoming big purchases you needed to make, like a new camera or something, or if you wanted to hire someone, you can put that into your cash flow forecast and see if it makes sense.
Yeah.
If you can do it.
Very good. What's the biggest mistake that you see business owners making early on?
Not being organized.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say aside from trusting influencers.
Yes, don't trust any gurus.
What were you saying?
Not being organized. Yeah, so I would say people probably end up bringing a bookkeeper on board too late, honestly, because they don't want to pay for it. I think it will just earn you more money in the end if you hire someone to keep you organized. They don't set aside money for taxes because they feel like they never have money, which I see that all the time with sole proprietors. They're making just enough to transfer themselves money to cover their household expenses, but they're still making a profit and you still need to pay tax on that. but there isn't money left over for taxes at the end of the year. So that one gets people in trouble. Not pricing properly.
Right.
That's a really big one.
Yeah.
And it can affect your entire business and ultimately be the end of your business if you're not pricing profitably. So you need to know your costs inside and out, how much it costs you to provide a service. I would say equally as important and relevant to that is tracking your time.
Right.
I know that's probably not something a creative person wants to do. I don't like to do it either, but it is really important, especially if you want to look back and see if a certain job or client is profitable and by how much. I do have like spreadsheets and calculators where we kind of work backwards. So how much money do you want to make? How much are you paying your staff? What are the direct costs involved? How much gross margin do you want to make? That's what your minimum price should be. So knowing that inside and out is very important. Because it can be the death of your business. What other mistakes? Hiring too soon is probably one.
Yeah.
Like, I think if you're hiring before fixing things like profitability in pricing, organization, even of your finances, because if you're just hiring someone and you have no organization, you don't know if you can afford them. And then you end up kind of working for free and paying your employee. And that's not a good situation to be in. There's probably many mistakes, but those are some that I can think of that I have seen. And just not trusting themselves, not following their own instincts. I've made that one myself. I have imposter syndrome sometimes. So I think that I can maybe sit on something for so long and not put it out there in the world and waiting till it's perfect when really you just need to get started and do it. Yeah, that's a big one for me.
Is that kind of what you felt with this business essentially?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even still, like, it's getting a lot better. And especially as I bring on more and more clients and have, like, the proof is in the pudding, right? Like when you actually are working with them and you are doing the thing and seeing the results or whatever, it's much easier than to put out a price or put out a service and confidently know that you can accomplish what you're saying you're going to.
Is that what you struggled with most in the business, is just getting over that imposter syndrome or pricing or?
I laugh because a friend and client of mine tells me this a lot, that I need to just stop thinking about it so much and like get over myself, like just do it. Other people are just doing it. Like they're no better or worse than you, they're just doing it. So that's probably the number one piece of advice I would pass along that I've received is just do the thing. You have to get started and you won't know if it will work or what you need to tweak until you get started. But that's a constant struggle. I think it probably always will be, just like different levels of it.
No, 100%. Even when I left teaching and I went to college, media communications, I had kind of an idea what I was interested in, but that program was very diverse. We did a little bit of everything. And I actually never even knew that I was good behind the camera.
Right.
Like video production, I never even knew I was good at it. I did a little bit of it in fine arts, but that was just like art videos. You know, we're just kind of being cool. But I never even knew I could be good behind the camera. And I liked it. And so that was like, you know, just one thing leads to another. And then you just have to get over yourself. And like when I did my first podcast, I'm still a little nervous, but I did my first one. I was just like sitting there and I was like, and I just had my questions. I didn't say anything. I just, one question after the other.
Just following the questions.
And so slowly, you know.
But you wouldn't have got here without doing that one. Like you just have to. You have to try and fail or not fail, but not be perfect. Right.
Just got to go out there. I like that. Very good. Okay, so I hear people talk about this, but like, how do I even begin to pay myself properly? Like right now, like I feel like I have been very organized with my business in the sense I have a new system for payments and I have a spreadsheet. I kind of have a separate bank account. I need to get one that's like 100%. But like people sometimes say like, oh, what do you mean like pay yourself? Like the money is mine or it goes into my equipment. Does that apply to me or what are your thoughts on that?
It's I do see this as a tricky thing for sole proprietors because you're not a separate legal entity like a corporation, right? So in a corporation, you would either have to pay yourself a salary or a dividend in order to get money out of there. So yes, all of the net profit at the end of the day is yours, but I would say you should treat it as a business as early as possible. It just gets you in that mindset. So your business needs to make enough profit to pay you and also to reinvest in your business so it can grow. So if you're just keeping all of the money personally, A, you're probably not saving money for taxes, and B, you're not leaving anything in there to save up to hire someone or to purchase equipment or whatever. So I would recommend getting on some sort of payment transferring schedule. It doesn't need to be anything official. You don't have to, like if you had employees, you would have to remit CPP and tax and all that for them. You don't do that as a sole proprietor for yourself, but you could just, it's as easy as setting up an e-transfer every bi-weekly or whatever. Like basically pretending like you're on the payroll.
Right.
I would recommend that. So kind of work backwards. You can figure out what you need for your personal life. And if your business is able to fund that, that's great. And that could be your amount that you're transferring yourself. And if not, I guess then you need to look at your business and see where you can maybe plug some of those leaks to be able to afford your personal lifestyle. But really, how to pay yourself as a sole prop, you just pay yourself.
Yeah.
But I would recommend trying to structure it a little bit.
Yeah. So if somebody like me wanted help with those structures, who do they go to? It's not the bookkeeper? Is it a business coach that they look to?
No, I would say it could be a bookkeeper or an accountant that's filing your taxes.
Okay.
I have people I could give you their info. Yeah, like if you're a sole proprietor, you're going to need to file a business statement on your personal tax return right at the end of the year. And so if you find an accountant that you have a good relationship with, you can certainly ask them questions throughout the year. And those are very straightforward questions that they would be happy to help you with.
Yeah.
I can answer them for you too. It's not at the end of the world.
There we go. So realistically, how often should I be checking my numbers?
Okay, so this probably changes based on what number you're talking about and based on the stage of your business. So things like if you're struggling with cash flow, I would say check your bank account every day. If you are not struggling with cash flow, then maybe that's not as much of a concern. Like, you have a buffer in your bank. You don't have to necessarily check it all the time. Monthly, I would suggest making sure you're looking at your profit and loss report. That's why you need like a accounting software or something to show your net income for that period. Quarterly, you could be looking at some financial goals that you've set out for yourself, or set them if you haven't, and then revisit those quarterly, revise them if you need to. Annually, you're going to be looking at your year as a whole and probably comparing it to the prior year and see what went right and what went wrong. Like things that I do with my clients on a monthly basis would be, we're looking at a 13-month cash flow and profit and loss forecast every month. So we're doing that and we're adjusting it every month. We're looking at the past month and how it compared to the previous year. And what else are we looking at? Actuals compared to the budget. We're looking at that every month. Things that we would do weekly are cash flow if they need to monitor it on a more regular basis. But otherwise, that could be monthly too. So the answer, as many accountants like to say with any question, is it depends. Depends on your situation. But just getting started checking them, even monthly, is probably a good place to start. And if you're doing your own bookkeeping or transaction recording, I would say definitely try to get in there at least once a month. You don't want to leave that too long, because then it just becomes this like thing you have to do and it's weighing on you. And then you don't want to do it and you procrastinate.
Sounds good. Love it. Okay, so now I'm going to do some quick rapid fire questions.
Okay, I'm scared.
So, best money habit for business owners?
I would say you need to be cash flow forecasting. You have to do it.
cash flow forecasting. So like
Yep.
how much cash am I going to get in September, October, November?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do it now.
Biggest myth about accounting or finance?
The biggest myth about accountants, I would say, is that we're boring and we're no fun. I've been to some wild tax parties. And yeah, don't let accountants fool you. They're not so serious.
Yeah. What's one thing every entrepreneur should know?
I would say they need to understand some simple financial terms, such as probably gross profit margin and net profit margin. Those are very important. Um, and that cash doesn't equal profit. That's another good one. Yeah.
Okay. What's the biggest misconception about your business? Yeah.
That's a good question. I get this a lot. I'll get people that fill out forms on my website asking if I can just file their taxes, or looking for just basic bookkeeping. So I know it does get a little bit confusing because we do sometimes do those things, but that's not the main service that we provide. It's more so based on being that kind of fractional accounting department. So we will provide, I do have a team member who I love. She's been an excellent addition to my team. I just need to make sure I say that somewhere in this podcast. So with her help, now we can provide this fractional accounting department. So it's like we're fixing processes and we're making things run better. And we're not just, where I compare that to more basic bookkeeping would be, that would be like just coming in and kind of status quo, just recording things that happened and making sure everything's organized, which that's important too. But this is a little bit beyond that. And we will deal with their other finance people that they may have on their internal team. And then we're really future focused from there. So we make sure that they have the structure set up properly so that we can then use it to look forward to the future and help them make business decisions with confidence and with data. So yeah, the biggest misconception, I guess, would be that I'm like a tax accountant, which I have filed a lot of tax returns, but I don't want to do that anymore. So that's, I work with other accountants and we outsource that to them.
Yeah. And what does your website say? There's kind of a little catchphrase like, not just your regular
I don't even remember. I haven't been on there in a while. I'm not sure what it says.
Okay, so to wrap up, what is your biggest mission with Loft? Like, what kind of people are you most excited to help? Like, what is your why?
I would really love to see, truthfully, I'd love to see as many women business owners succeed as possible and grow big businesses and make a lot of money and invest their money and get rich. Like, honestly, I would love to see that happen. I work with a lot of really great men too. It's nothing against them. I do just think that because I'm a woman, I do tend to get more female clients. That's just the way it is. And I just love working with them too. We have a lot in common, obviously. So that is definitely part of the mission. Many business owners will fail after 5 years in business. Right. So a big goal would be to help change that statistic. And I think one of the big reasons is because they run out of cash. Yeah. So that's why I think services like this are important. Yeah. What else? That is my why. I would ultimately like to grow it and add more people to my team. And hopefully one day we can be at a place where we're adding more services to help kind of even entry level businesses a little bit better. Yeah. And not just focusing on kind of the mid-range. So there's lots of goals and moving parts and services and things I want to do. Yeah. So we will see where it takes us. But yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm always thinking up new service ideas. So I think I just need to calm down and focus on what I'm doing for a while.
No, it looks like you're doing good. And yeah,
That's
that
fun.
sounds awesome. I love it. Love it. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show. I appreciate you coming down.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Anytime. And I'll have to get some more financial advice
Yes,
and
we'll
write
take it
down,
offline and
write down those apps.
we'll look at
and-
your spreadsheet.
Yeah, I feel pretty good on my spreadsheet these days. It's
Good.
color coded. And,
Nice,
I made a huge stride this summer.
Spreadsheets are, don't underestimate a good spreadsheet.
And that's the end of the episode. Thanks again for hanging out with me. And last thing, if you have a second, feel free to follow me on Spotify and Instagram. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you next time.